And the slow fade in. Good. What is it? Happy Monday! Woo! Yo, yo, yo. Mr. Vega is in the house. What is up, everyone? Monday, Monday, Monday. Mr. William Berg. Cincinnati is checking in along with, let me roll back to this one, Kentucky. They make good fried chicken, or so I'm told. I don't know. Anyways, good. How are you doing, Fernando?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay.
I know, right?
It is what it is.
It solely is what it is. As you can see in the background, we have an F-150, and we just didn't feel like crowding it over into the corner. This worked for us the other morning, so we're like, hey, you know what? Let's do it this direction one more time. Let me get rid of the overhead.
What's up, Luis?
Thing. Anyways.
Yeah.
How's everybody? Texas, Australia, did you say that? Massachusetts is 60. Portugal, Long Island. Good times, good times. So we got a jam-packed show full of fun and excitement for you guys today, that is for sure. For those of you that have been playing along with us for the last couple weeks, you know that at the 20-minute mark we have a definition that we're going to do, and then at the 40-minute mark we have a cool topic, cool stuff with Tina and Fernando. Oh, go grab your laptop.
Oh, yes.
Go grab your laptop. Okay, we almost forgot. Fernando has been working hard on logos for the show for the 20-minute mark, and we want to show them to you so that you guys are going to vote and tell us what you think is the coolest one. So we all get to play along a little bit. Ohio, PA, getting warm. Omaha,
Indiana.
Gonna pass the ball. Good. November, we might be there. Might be there. That'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
Where would you consider the capital of car audio? Texas?
California?
Texas?
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like Texas. I mean, when you look at
California, because a lot of things come from there.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so there's 4 markets in the United States that are big in everything. I'll get it. I was just waiting for you.
Cable?
I was waiting for you to come back and sit down.
Okay.
California, Florida, Texas, and New York are like the 4 biggest areas for business as far as this industry is concerned. So it would definitely have to be one of them. But I don't know, man. I just feel like
I feel California, it's a lot of things come from California, but one of the biggest markets are Cali, Florida, and
I just said that.
Yeah, there you go. He just said that, so
That's funny.
well, I never listen, so
I know. It's just hilarious. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's have some fun tonight. So this is going to be Viewer Choice Awards for sure.
yeah.
Mark Rutledge. Okay, he says 1 down.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Oh, he got his COVID today. Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's 1 in the books. So, all right, let's hope he doesn't get sick. Hey, Dean, any progress on the Kia Stormtrooper tweeter covers? In the sense of I know exactly what I want to build now because I got to do some testing this weekend, yes. So it's just a matter of me sitting down and designing them, which I'm going to try to do tonight, but I'm not going to promise you anything. But yes, I know I had to do some idea forging, and now I know what I want to do. So it's just a matter of me sitting down and knocking it out. So they will be done in the next couple days, no problem. Super excited because I want to see what they look like. Louisiana is in the house. Good afternoon from the lovely Long Island of New York. Well, that's 2 people there. Everything's better and bigger in Texas. The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas. Okay. And then California, there's your love right there. Checking in from Safety Harbor. There's Mom right there. What's up, Mom? Northern Maine, where I bet you it's cold still. Lancaster. Tempe, Arizona. That's not where you're at, but okay. All right, you ready?
Well, I'm ready for what?
Let's
just answer some questions.
No, I want to show these so they have time to think about it. Dean, when you gonna sponsor me? Not. How y'all doing, Florida here? Fox Acoustics. or Q Power for prefab for Silverado. If you can get it from Fox Acoustics, I would definitely go Fox Acoustics. Do you have the you have them right there?
I have all this.
All right, so just double click on it and that'll pull it up.
What says one?
Oh, you just saved them onto the desktop.
different.
All right, so here's the deal. As you guys know, the 20-minute mark, we have the education thing. So Fernando's been working on a cool screenshot that's going to pop up because we want to name everything something.
Yep.
And so we're going to start with the first one. And so we want you guys all to play along and tell us what you think. All right, so here we go.
So that's the first one right there.
We got it. You gotta literally get it. What are you? Slow it down. Do you want me to do this? You're scaring. You're scaring me. Hold on. Command C. Okay. All right. Just use your. There you go.
Okay.
Ready, guys? All right. Here's the first one, according to Fernando. 12-volt files. All right. So the background is gonna stay the same. We're just gonna change the name of the show. So all right. So wait till the end. So we got 12-volt files. All right. We're gonna come back to that.
12-volt files.
Yeah, our matching crappy shirts. I know.
Yeah.
We had to do that. Go MTI. Ooh, yes, definitely MTI. If you can swing it, they're definitely really nice. You know, if you just hit Command and the plus sign, it'll zoom in for you. All right, so here's the next one. Learning one-on-one. I don't know if I like that one. So far, I'm not thrilled with any of these, but
okay.
All right.
So not that one.
Not that one. Okay.
We can throw it away.
No, we're not throwing. Oh, here we go. All right, so here's another one. All right, just Command plus. I know, right?
Same thing.
Oh yeah, but it's. All right, here we go. Next one. Wrong laptop. Get your learn on. All right, so we got get your learn on. All right. Like the X-Files.
All right. This is the other one. Tag time.
Alright, here we go. Tech time. Alright, so that's it. I know this is probably not the
and that is the last one.
Head unit inventories. Head unit inventory seems to be drying up. That is 100% correct. It is totally drying up. Alright. Now, I'm not going to say this is what it's going to be, but I really like this one. So let's see what you guys think. Fundamentals of car audio. I like the fun. Obviously, it's kind of a play on words. I think for me, this is the one that I thought he was the most creative on. All right, so to recap, close it back down, and we have
get your learn
on,
take time, and what is this one?
Learning one-on-one. Because we're not definitely one-on-one.
That's it. And
learning with D Nando. 12-volt files. Okay, so that was the. How about 12-volt cliff notes? Car audio 101.
So, and the last one was
fundamentals of car audio. The last one. All right, I'm with you. All right, so Dennis said the last one. So Dennis is the only one that matters. Yes, the last one.
Scott. Okay,
all right, so let's go back to that one more time, just for those of you that are.
Right there.
Yep. So fundamentals of car audio. So I thought this one was the most creative for sure. I thought this one had the most wow, that's cool. Well, it's got the DNF across the bottom. We didn't want to make it too. Well, see, but the thing is, like tech time, we wanted to have a little bit more. Yeah, we wanted to make it. So the idea is to make it a little bit looser, just tech, because depending on how this goes, it might not be a tech term. It might be something else. So it was kind of have some fun with it. All right, so the last one seems to be the ones you guys like. So the fundamentals of car audio probably are going to be what it is. We're gonna let it go through. So for those of you that are watching this on the rebroadcast, you still have a chance. So let us know in the comments what you think. All right. Now with that being said, let's head over to Facebook real quick. So we can get to some questions before we get to the 20-minute mark. This week, for those of you that don't know, 12-volt Clean Wire Club, if you do clean wiring and Fernando likes it, you get put on the cover. This week's cover is brought to us by, looks like me.
Yeah, I don't like the other one, so.
This is what you settled
That's
on,
what
huh?
I saw, and that's what I like.
Okay, so this was the Kia Soul from last week. We did a D4.800, LC 1.800. It was the Stormtrooper car. Oh, we could have put Stormtrooper logos on the tops of the amplifier. I didn't even think about that.
No, that looks clean. That looks
I know it
nice,
looks clean.
You know?
I know it looks
I mean, they did okay job. So
They
it's
did an
not
okay
like,
job.
eh.
I mean, it's okay. There
It's
was
alright.
some things like
Yeah, I mean, one of the wires kind of crooked a little bit.
Was it crooked?
Yeah, but hey, you know, it's like, not everybody's perfect.
Dean, best head unit smart deck. Any one of the Kenwoods with the XR. Personally, for me, the Kenwood Exelon XR series of head units, which consist of 5 radios, or maybe more than that now, are the best when you're talking sound quality, performance. I don't know about value because they're not cheap, but if that's what you're looking for, then those would be wonderful. That's my thought. What's up, Greg? Saludos. All right, let me scroll back through here. How about electrifying education? Because it's not always going to be electric, so we don't want to go that far. But does Audio Frog give you a digital version of the test CD with the mic kit? They do not. They do not give you a digital version of it. I know, right? However, for me, I just, I know it's getting harder because a lot of these players don't come with CD drives. So, that's something I'll have to talk to Andy about. I wonder if he's going to be in Orlando in June. That's a good point. That's a valid point that he should stop selling it with a CD and start selling it with a thumb drive. Yeah. Kenwood, quality is never cheap. Exactly.
Yeah.
When will Kenwood be back in stock? I don't know, man. Dude, if these places don't quit burning to the ground,
Everything is waiting.
Bill, when will Kenwood be back in stock? Depends on which one you're looking for.
Hello.
All right, hold on. What do you got? You got some of these ones that fell back.
Right.
Notice the. Hold on. What does it say? Notice the marine colors.
That's it.
Notice marine colors
On the border.
and the border. Oh yeah, yellow and red.
Yeah.
Good call. Yep. Didn't even pay attention to that. So now I'll have to change it. Yeah, I have the Kenwood 1057 and my okay. Does not have a. Oh, that's a. Okay. Hello. All right. Give me a question, Fernando. They're learning.
This is not a question. All right. So Kenny says, I'm about 2 hours from you. How do I go about getting hold of you?
I wish I had a great answer for that, but I mean, you try to call Paul. If you know what you want, you could send him an email, which will probably speed things up a little bit. You could send him a email if you spell out 5starcarstereo@gmail.com. And of course, you can call him at 727-216-6170.
How you put it right there in this?
See, look at that.
In the question
Dean,
right here.
Paul emailed me back. Thanks.
There you go.
So if you want, email is a little bit easier right now, just because it is obscenely busy, and it's not a complaint. It's not anything. It's just it's a lot of business going on, and it is making it harder for him to get back to people. And we're swamped in the install base, so it's yeah. 2015 Jeep Unlimited with an Alpine. Already replaced the head unit with a Kenwood and a Maestro. All good. I want to replace amps and speakers. Do I have to go Maestro AR or DS1, or can I just connect them directly to... It's like a book.
Yes, it is.
Directly to the head unit in the usual fashion, etc. I definitely don't want to lose any functionality. I'm not going for super high-end, just more power, volume, Uconnect. Okay, so basically the question is this. I have a new radio in my car, and it just so happens to be a Dodge in this case, or Chrysler, and I have it a Kenwood with an RR, and it's doing everything it needs to. Do I have to go AR? And the answer to that is no, you don't. AR is if you're going to be keeping the factory radio, which you've already gotten rid of. However, what you're going to want to do is pick up the AR harness, because the AR harness for your car will allow you to unplug the factory amplifier, plug in, and get all your speaker wires. So you don't have to run new speaker wires, you don't have to cut any plugs, you don't have to do any damage to the vehicle. So you definitely want to pick up The ACH, there's 3 of them, so do the research. The ACH harness for your car, that way you don't have to cut any plugs. Other than that, you don't need anything else. You can just do standard amplifiers connected to the RCAs on the back of the Kenwood. I might recommend checking out the Kenwood speakers. They make a great perfect fit speaker for that car, and the 6x9 3-way component. I'm sorry, 6x9 component set with a 3.5 inch. So you get a 3.5 inch coaxial for the dash, the C3 I think is what it's called, and then you get the 6x9 mid bass for the back, for the bottom of the door. Personally, I like to use 2 sets, and I just have an extra set of 3.5s, but if you have the Alpine system, you will have a place for that extra set of 3.5s, because that 6x9, unlike the coaxial 6x9 that they make, the coaxial 6x9 is a little big, a little outdated, and it honestly doesn't have the bass response that the component set does. So if you want to, I would get 2 sets of the 6x9s with the 3.5 inch to go into the car. You might also want to go full Kenwood, in which case you could check out the 902.5 amplifier, which would be wonderful for that. If you want to go with a bigger amp for a sub, you know, if that's big enough, they make the single 12 inch with the red stripe, which is the Exelon, which is a beautiful box that could fit in the back of the car, or something along those lines. The 902.5 is enough to power like 2 10s or 1 really nice 12. If you want to go more than that, then check out going with their 4-channel and their mono block. And or if you're not concerned about fader control, you can get into the DSP 6.600. And why I say fader control is because it is not going to give you front to rear fade. It's only got 2 channels of input. But it has 6 channels of power along with 4 channels of output. So you can do an active front stage, a set of coaxial or biamped hookup, passive hookup in the rear, and then buy the big 1000 that they make for the sub amp.
All right.
Sound like a Kenwood commercial. Gosh, sorry.
All right. I have a 2010 Tundra Crew Max. I have a pair of Rockford 10s P2s. I want to go with more bass, boomier bass. Any suggestions with a box and or subs?
So when it comes to the boomiest boxes that we've put into these, if that's a Fox acoustic box. They usually build the biggest version of the box that you can fit, and they usually port it. You have P2s, which are an extremely efficient speaker and very nice sounding, but the P3, its bigger brother, is a much meaner animal to deal with. So if you're a Rockford fan and you have the power, jumping up to the P3s would definitely be the way to go. If you're going to go ported, you're definitely going to need more power. So I don't know what kind of amps you have, but if you're looking to keep it all in the family, check out like the R2 1201. It'd be a great amp to pair them up with.
All right. One of my friends want to add a subwoofer to my 2012 Mazda 3 with Bose. I plan on using an LP72 LOC. Do I need LGDs so the Bose amp stays happy?
So I wouldn't do that. First things first is you have LP, oh, did you say LP72?
LP72.
LP72 is the pack high level to low level adapter. Doesn't handle, it's too small for what you're trying to do. You need an LC2i Pro from Audio Control would be the better move. The LC2i Pro is going to have low generation built into it. It's a simple switch.
Yep.
Also, it handles up to 22 volts or 20 volts of input, or 40 volts of input.
It's up to 40 volts.
Up to 40 volts of input, which if you have a factory Bose amplifier, chances are good it's going to be putting out way more than the 8 to 10 volts that the LP will take. The LP is not designed to get hooked up to an amplified system in the sense of an outboard amplifier. It's really just made for deck power, which you don't have. So don't use that at all.
And the low resistors are there, so.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So
right.
get the LC2i Pro.
Yep. C2i
because
Pro.
that's the piece that you want. Nothing else. Okay, go on.
Hey guys, I have a 2021 Accord Export Edition. The audio Accord.
Okay, Export.
2021. The audio unit is built in with no separate amplifier. Does anyone make a T-harness, or how do I run my aftermarket amplifier?
We have this YouTube channel, in one of the cars that we've covered probably 4 different videos is the Honda Accord. Metra does make a T-harness for it that may or may not be available. If they don't, you can easily go and buy 2 of the 70 and 1 of the 71 harnesses. When you go and research your car, you'll see the 70-4 numbers and you'll see the 71-4 numbers. The reason why you'd buy 2 of the 70s if you can't get the T-harness, which you might not be able to right now, is because you'll need that in order to build an actual harness that has all the pins in it to retain your car. But we've done several Honda Accords. The 2020 model, the 2019 model, which is the same as the 2021 model. We show you how to take it apart. We show you everything there is possibly to know about it, premium sound and non-premium sound. So definitely check those videos out and see what you can come up with.
Alright, on my 7600 NEX keeps asking me to speed sensor to be hooked up.
Yes.
Do I need to? It's
No.
a 2007 Dodge Ram non-amplify.
If you have a 2007 Dodge Ram, that should have a smart harness in it. The reason why it's asking you for that speed pulse is that was something that they had to work out with Apple because they didn't use a good enough GPS antenna with their unit. So Apple made them enable the VSS wire connection. If you use the smart harness to install your radio, there should be a pink wire in the harness that you can connect their pink wire to. It'll make that go away. If not, it isn't going to do anything. That is just the restriction that Apple put on them for that thing. So every time you do CarPlay, that pops up and then you have to hit OK and it's really annoying. But that's the only thing it's doing. It's not hurting anything. It's just an annoyance.
Alright, can you change the MKT 2013 radio? MKT.
Because it's a Lincoln.
It's a Lincoln, sounds okay. MKT radio. Not sure what can be done for that car. Also, I want to change my speakers. What do you think about Diamond speakers? Anything is better and why? I want a good, clear sound.
I mean, the Diamond is a great brand, but there's a ton of manufacturers out there to choose from. If someone sold you on those and you heard them and you liked them, by all means, get them. Because there's, we don't particularly sell Diamond anymore. We have in the past.
It's a Lincoln?
Yeah,
it's a Lincoln.
Total guess. So, I mean, as far as that goes, that's entirely up to you. I mean, if you found a speaker that you like the way it sounds, go with it. There's nothing wrong with that. Are there other brands out there that are yeah, I mean, we carry Focal, we carry Audison Hertz, we carry Morel, we carry, obviously, we've talked about Rockford, Kenwood, Kicker, Alpine. So we carry a plethora of different speakers to choose from. All right, so here is what I want you to take a look at. So take a screenshot right now, pack-audio.com, maestro-audio. Okay, these 5 places here are the 5 places that we search anytime we have to do any integration into a car. If they don't exist here, chances are good you're pretty much out of luck. But you can log into these, and like I said, if they don't have them, I don't know what to tell you. Some cars just don't get new radios.
Alright, I have a 3-way active with my D1200. I'm running my rear doors with the Pioneer 2600 head unit. I have a sound delay from the front stage. How do I correct or delay the rear door signal?
What you're going to do is some funky math where you're going to go in and add in the milliseconds of delay for the rear channels into the Pioneer radio. So you're going to go into your Pioneer radio's time delay settings and put it for driver's front like you typically would, and then that's going to add in some delay that you don't want and some level control. Go in and balance those all out to 0. Just zero it all out, put the time delays all back to 0, and then you're going to just go to the rear speakers themselves in that and add in some delay to them. Really, it doesn't have to be too sophisticated. You can put in the measures you want. I would start at like a millisecond of like a millisecond of delay and just kind of go from there to see where that gets you as far as what you want to do. You could also do the math to figure out what each millisecond of delay needs to be, which if you stay tuned, we're going to jump into that right now because we're actually 5 minutes past the 20-minute mark. this is going to help you out a little bit. All right, guys, here we go. So, tech tip or tech talk or whatever you want. The fundamentals of car audio is, I think, what we decided on. Today, we're going to talk about the basics of time alignment. So, sit back, relax, hold your questions. Everyone just give us a couple minutes. We're going to have some fun here. We're all going to get our learn on. So, here we go. Laptop. Basics of time alignment. What are we trying to do when we say time alignment? 1. Create a soundstage with proper placement. 2. Create a balanced stereo sound. This is a car. We listen to stereo. It's not 5.1, 7.1, or 9.1 surround. It is 2-channel audio. Erase the speaker location. That's right. Erase the speaker location. You want it to give a good soundstage across the front of the car and not make it sound like it's coming from this corner and that corner. Add realism to the sound. So when you go to a concert, you have sound coming from across the front of you. There again, not from the left, not from the right. So you want it to sound more realistic. Now keep in mind, all these are just what time alignment is supposed to be creating. Not everyone likes that, so don't feel bad if you're like, I don't like any of this. It's perfectly okay. This is just the concept that what we're trying to do when we say time alignment, because I feel a lot of you people don't really grasp it. That doesn't necessarily mean you like it though. So if it's something that's not your speed, feel free to just, yeah. But for those of you that are trying to do it, this is what we're trying to do here. What proper stereo sounds like. We have a right speaker, we have a left speaker. In this case, we have a turntable. Listener is equal distance from both speakers. It means you're sitting in the middle, kind of like the Memorex commercial, just all chilled out with the speakers in front of you, giving it good times. This will give the illusions of instrument and singer placement. With these two speakers, it should sound like you're sitting in a sound stage. There should be a main vocalist, a drummer somewhere behind them, pianos, keyboards, and horns off to the left and right, depending on where they're standing or where they're placed in the audio track. You should be able to experience all this in proper 2-channel audio. The problem we run into, actually, back that up, this creates what's called the solar system of sound, where you yourself are the sun, and we only want one planet to surround us. In this case, you could be the Earth with one moon, but that's whole either way. Sound, you're the main focus, and we want one planet to circle us. The problem we run into in a car, what the solar system of sound looks like, is this. It looks like our solar system, where you're the sun, and then you have all these planets at all different distances circling around your head and just creating all kinds of havoc. That's why it sounds like there's sound coming out of the left and sound coming out of the right, and if you lean back, sound coming out of the rear, and some people like that, and it's okay. Like I said, this is the concept we're trying to get across here, not whether you like it or not. We need to push these out, we need to push all of these out to one. So we need to make our car like this, not like this. Time for some math. Woo! How do you do this? Well, obviously you need a DSP, so we're just going to assume you knew that. Or a radio that has a DSP in it. Radio with a DSP in it gets a little bit more complicated only because they don't always do things, but once you've learned all this, you'll kind of figure out what we're talking about. Measure from a center point to each speaker. So for example, if you're sitting in... I like all around and indoor. Thanks, Jeff. All right. Measure from a center point to each speaker. So if you're sitting in your chair and you have a friend and you'd like him to measure you, measure, or just pick a spot in the center of the headrest. Maybe put a piece of tape there, or look for a logo or something like that, and measure out to each thing and have a piece of paper handy. Make sure to add in space for grill to speaker distance. What that means is that the speaker... What are those factory speakers that you had earlier?
Oh, right here.
Thank you. So if you look at this speaker here and where it mounts in the door, this is where we're trying to get to here. Now this, as you can see, this is a factory speaker, but a lot of times when you pull the factory speaker out, you're putting it back in and you're not retaining this amount of depth here. Say it's shorter. So you need to make sure you add in the distance to this area here on the speaker in order to get proper placement. Unless each speaker has a gap like that all the way around. So if each speaker is this far in, then you don't have to. So whatever, it's just easier to add it, I guess, would be the easiest way to think about that. When using passive speaker systems, measure to the mid bass. This is a big question everyone asks, is like, I'm gonna go passive, what speaker? Mid bass, go to the mid bass. I'd like to have Fernando take both measurements just so I can get an idea of what it looks like, but going to the mid bass is important. This is also what becomes handy when you have the crossovers that have attenuation on them, that have the 0 dB and -3 dB attenuation. That attenuation can be used when doing time alignment because this tweeter is obviously closer to you than that tweeter. Simply by switching it down to -3 and leaving that one at 0 will also help with that if you don't have a big EQ to play with after the fact. Most DSPs will do the calculations for you, meaning you can usually log in like this 37, 35, 39, 56, 56, 58, 56. You can just log those into your DSP and it'll figure out your milliseconds of delay. It'll find your 0 point, as it were. However, not all do. And when I said 0 point, is exactly what I mean, the 0 point. The distance between, take the farthest speaker, in which case the passenger rear is 58 inches, that's going to be our farthest speaker. That is the 0 point. That is the largest, that is the farthest speaker away from me. I need to push all these other speakers out to that. If your DSP does not do the math, you must find the 0 point, subtract all numbers from the largest. So if we take the 37, 35, 39, 56, 56, 56, 58, and we subtract those from 58, what we end up with is 21, 23, 19, 2, 2, 2, and 0. A lot of DSPs are like this, okay, and the cheaper DSPs. So for example, the Alpines are like this, the Nakamichi was like this, anything that uses, the Dayton is a lot like this. A lot of these that use this same basic software, they want you to do your basic math and figure out your 0 point. They're not going to do it for you, and they can come up with some really weird numbers that makes the car sound very strange. So don't do that. So the best way to think about it is if you do like enter the normal numbers and it sounds weird, go back and try doing the 0 point, and it'll usually clear that up for you. If you have to find milliseconds of delay, which this falls into what the gentleman was talking about before this, how do we do it if we're combining two DSPs together? Well, then you could just find out what all your milliseconds of delay are, and you can just type those numbers in. How you do that is divide by 13.5. 13.5 is what equals an inch per millisecond. So if we take these numbers that we took from the last one where we found the 0 point, the 2, the 0 to 2, the 19 and whatnot, and we divide those by 13.5, what we end up with is 1.5, 6, 1.7, 1.4. These are all the milliseconds of delay all the way down to the 0 point. You can enter those numbers in, which some DSPs will give you the option for inches or milliseconds. So if you prefer to do the milliseconds on your own, this is the math in which you'd need to do that. And what this will help give you is the illusion of balanced stereo sound by moving these planets, as it were, out to the main dark blue ring like you see there. That is going to give us the illusion of what we were trying to do back at the beginning, which is have what proper stereo sounds like. And that, my friends, is the basics of time alignment. And like I said, it's not for everybody, but if you want it, that's how you do it. Good times.
It is a good time.
How do you set up your subwoofer distance? Because I have heard something about turning your sub 180 degrees out of phase and using mid bass to find the point.
Yep.
Okay. Where cancel one another, never gotten it to work right. The problem with subwoofer is volume. If you're going to try to align your front subwoofers, you have to pick a volume in which to do it, and that is the only volume in which it is going to work. Because think about it like this. All your other speakers are fixed volumes. They all go up, they all come down, but they're fixed with one another. Your subwoofer is the only one that's variable. And if you try to play it all the way up, it's usually too much bass. And if you try to play it all the way down, it's not enough bass. So you have to find, let's say you decide that, like, okay, this volume that I listen to it now is the ideal volume for when I'm trying to time align my subwoofer. Pull the knob off, put the knob in, so that at 12 o'clock, that is your tune point. So when you're showing off your system and you want your sub to be time aligned with the front, that is the biggest hurdle, is that as soon as you turn it up some, it's either going to do this or it's going to do that. Okay, so that's key number one. Distance-wise, measure to that same center point of where the cone comes in, touches the voice coil. That's going to be where you want to go for that. What I like to do is actually play a polarity pop track, in which case I listen for the subwoofer's distance to go pop, 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 and it couples with the mid-range. Just like we're doing when we're moving across the dash, it does the same thing. The reality is you should be able to measure in the exact distances that you figured, and it should be where it needs to be. As far as whether you want to turn it 180 degrees out of phase, that really just depends on the system. A lot of DSPs just give you that simple 180 degrees, which is way too much. Way too much. Sometimes, like on some of the other, like Phoenix Gold, one of the big things that made that amplifier awesome is that it had an infinitely variable phase knob. And the reason why it had that is so that you could get your subwoofers in line with the phase of the mid bass. These DSPs that have fixed, 180 is way too much usually. You'll know right away because your bass will just go from, your mid bass will just go from sounding good to absolutely zero, and you'll be like, I don't like that. So try that.
All right.
What's been your favorite SQ components you've installed? I don't really have one. I know that sounds weird, but I don't know. I mean, it really just comes down to the car most of the time. It's like, oh, that car just like, that sounded great. That EQ'd easy. Like, it just, the placement was wonderful. That's more the thing, but I don't remember which cars those were, which I probably should, but I don't. Would you recommend using only the DSP embedded in the head unit, like the new Kenwood Exelon models? I'm not a fan of using that unless that's the only thing I have. If it's the only DSP I have is the one in the radio, I will use it. The problem with the DSPs in the radio is that no radio manufacturer follows suit with what we just taught you there. So a lot of the times the head unit manufacturers, it's counterintuitive. So instead of pushing out the driver's side speaker, you actually end up having to push out the passenger side speaker because it's backwards in the sense that it's a left-hand drive system and not a right-hand drive system. Some of them also want you to enter milliseconds delay, and or they want you to enter the 0 point. So you have to, they get really weird. Most of the time what I end up doing in a audio system, like a radio's DSP for time alignment, is I will set it to driver, I will zero out the level and zero out the milliseconds of delay or distance so that it's all zeros, and I will fade it to the front, I will play my polarity pop track, and I will start moving either the passenger side or the driver's side and see which one moves the pop across my dash. Once I've figured that out, I'll just move it until it's where I want it in the center, and I'm done. I will fade it back into the center. I will add some milliseconds to delay matching for the rear because I'm not, they're just an effects channel. I don't have to get them perfect. They're not going to be perfect. It's just a deck. And as soon as I start playing with the EQ, they're going to want to, so it's all good.
Alright, I'm gonna buy some Alpine Type R's and a 6.5 two-way speakers. Crutchfield says they won't fit in the back of my vehicle due to the clearance and issue of the tweeter. Can I modify the bracket and make them work? What do you think?
Crutchfield says a lot of things don't fit, but without knowing what kind of car you have, I don't know. That's a tough one.
Right.
Sometimes you can modify the brackets, sometimes you can't. It just depends on how much work you want to do.
Will the Kicker Key 500.1 work with the 2000 2021 Honda Civic Now Premium System for
Yes.
Fernando.
Yes, if you have a base model Honda or base model car for any reason, it doesn't really matter what it is, and you'd like to put in an amplifier that's going to DEQ and just basically make it sound really good, simply, the Key 501 is a wonderful amplifier to do that on. We've had great success with it on every application we put it in.
Where do you mount normally or install the GPS antennas for non-GPS Kenwood-head units? I have a CarPlay, it has it.
As long as the dash does not, as long as the windshield is not a metal windshield, and I know that sounds weird, but yes, more and more cars are becoming metal windshields. We typically put it underneath the dash panel here as far as in the corner as we can. Sometimes it'll go over here by the A-pillar. Sometimes it'll go underneath this area right here. But it can go up underneath the plastic on the dash and work fine.
Yeah, like he say, under the dash is fine.
If you have a 2015 Ford F-150, there's no reason why that Type R won't fit in the back. You have tons of room.
2015 F-150.
Yeah, 2015 F-150.
Oh,
it's
plenty.
Plenty of room. Which would you upgrade first? My 6x9 Tempo Ultra components to a hybrid series, or crap, where did it go? I lost it. No, I lost it. Or my Rockford 404 to the AP 4.8. Yes, it's an F-150. The Forza 8.9. Neither one of those sounds like a good idea with that particular amplifier. Okay, the Forza 8.9 is 75 or 85 watts by 4, and it's made for an efficient speaker. It is not made for those speakers. Okay, it's not enough power. That would be a bad idea, unless you just like low volume. I would not do that at all. It'd be a bad idea. I would buy a much bigger amplifier. So in the same realm of doing that, I would go with something that has like 120 watts of big power on it to do that. I love the Forza amplifier. If you were gonna get into the Forza Prima speakers, that would be one thing. It would totally make sense. I know you can get 250 watts out of it when you bridge the two channels. But still, it's that tweeter. No, I wouldn't do that. It's not enough power for those speakers. Those speakers are very power hungry. It's just not going to work right. If you want a DSP amplifier with a lot of power, we use the audio controls all the time. We put those on those speakers. They have great power to do that. So maybe think of something like that, and or not going with those type of speakers off of that.
How do you accomplish dynamic rear fill?
How do you accomplish dynamic rear fill? I'm assuming the same way you accomplish dynamic front fill. A tweeter located somewhere up high so that it's closer to the ears because it is directional. So if you put the tweeter somewhere where it's going to blast at the back of your head, that would probably give you a better high frequency response, which is key for that dynamic sound, as it were. That would probably be the best option. If you have speakers in the rear decks, maybe go from a coaxial to a component and mount the tweeter on its angle mounts firing forward. Be a good way to do that. And of course, EQ them individually so that you have a right and left EQ matched to your position in the car. That way you don't have to worry about any cancellation between the two because of their arrival times messing with with its dynamic sound that you're trying to get out of them.
All right. Can you make a wider center stage so your passenger can still hear the system good also?
No, not in the sense that you're trying to do so if you're trying to time a line to the driver, no. That's not how it works. If you're just trying to move sound, that's called a two-seat tune. You would have to tune to the center of the vehicle, and what you're gonna it's going to be wide. There's no question about it. But you have to change your focus point. You have to focus more on the center of the vehicle. So you would take measurements to here and not here, and then you're going to direct the sound that way. What you're going to end up, it's great if you just want a preset for that when people are in the car. Yes, you can. It's not going to give you. It's just going to move the sound forward. It is going to be very wide. That's the easiest way to do it. But there's no way for you as a one-seat tune to make a wide that they're going to get some illusion of center channel with. It's not how it works.
All right, for Spirit, that he's been. You gotta check metroonline.com, pacaudio.com. See if you can find a dash kit for your car. If you cannot find a dash kit, well, you're stuck with your factory radio, but you can still add some form of amplifiers and speakers and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that's like this. These websites, as we said the first time you asked it, this is what we would look at. If none of these guys have a dash kit for your car, that's it. You're out. There's no replacing the head unit. It's going to be everything after the fact. Kind of sucks. Totally understand. But look at it like this. If that's the only option where you have to keep the factory head unit, total bummer. Totally get it. However, if you get into something, let's say either a high-level to low-level adapter like an LC8i or something like a DM810 or any other DSP that has an auxiliary input in it, all right, this is where it gets a lot of fun. You can add in another source. So you can have your high-level to low-level source from all this other stuff here, but if your DSP has an auxiliary input that you can switch to, you can then use your phone directly into that, okay? So that means that, yeah, sure, if you want to listen to AM, FM, play your factory radio. You're not going to be jamming out. It's AM, FM. It's just talk radio and, you know, news and stuff like that. But then when you really want to listen, instead of using your source unit, switch over to something that has an auxiliary input. Now, if you get into a DSP that has an external controller, like JL makes their knob, Helix has their new Commander, which is a knob. Audio controls is through an app on the phone. There's a lot of them that have that little box. That becomes your new source unit. So that'll give you your main volume control as well as the ability to switch between the two sources, the factory source and your phone or your Bluetooth or your portable player or whatever you have. So all is not lost if you can't replace this radio. You can still get an awesome quality sound, just doing it a little bit more unconventional, which isn't actually that unconventional. A lot of the times that's what you do when you want better sound, because Ford Bluetooth sucks. It's terrible. So there's no reason to even try that. However, you can get into a better Bluetooth dongle. Some of these DSPs have better Bluetooth capability, and you can stream directly into it and control the main volume from their controller. So if we can't find a dash kit by looking at those companies, maybe think about doing something like that in the car, and that way it won't all be a bust.
All right, 48 minutes.
We're at 48 minutes. So today we're going to talk about something cool, and what could that be? Not this. We've already seen that, so let's get out of here, and we are going to head over to my fun place to hang out right now, which is the new iDataLink Maestro page. Today we were using it on this car behind us, which is that F-150, because we were going to replace the factory radio. I'm sorry, we were going to keep the factory radio and or replace it because he was on the fence. He didn't know which one he wanted to do. He was thinking like, I don't know where I'm at. I might want to put in a new radio. So it was us talking to him and figuring out what our options were as far as what we wanted to do. The nice thing about it is we typed in the Ford, the 2019, the F-150, and across the bottom here it tells us what we have the capability of. Not only that, but this website has a lot of deep features built into it, which we won't spend a lot of time on. We're just, if you have an RR or an RR, an RR2 or an AR, or you're thinking about adding one of these into your car, this is a great resource for you to get into both now and after the install. If you have your serial number, which you can access from the radio, you can then look up to see like if something's glitching or acting weird, which usually doesn't happen, but who knows, maybe there's a new feature that comes out that happens every now and then where they're like, hey, we've added this feature to the module. You can come in and you can go to, hold on, cancel, you can go to menu, and in the menus page you can find out new firmwares if there are, and then you can go in and you can check your product out by going, where's it at? Product comparison. You can compare you compare two units to see what's going on. Oh, and the big one that I like the most is guides. A lot of people want to know how to install their radios or what harnesses they need, and it was difficult to find the guides. Now you can immediately go right to the guides. Like I said, compatible radios. Another one too is compatible radios. So now you can type in the radio that you're looking at to see if it is compatible. Compatible DSPs, compatible radar detectors. So all these things are now built into this, which is super cool. Where is it at? This is new release, product support, product comparison, guides, flash device lookup. Okay, so flash device lookup. What this will allow us to do is I can type in the product that I have. So if I'm an RR, like in my Camaro, I had the RR2. I could type that in. I could type in the model number, the serial number off of the RR2 that is in my dash, and it'll tell me what I've flashed it to. So if I'm back here and I see that there is a new... If I'm here and I see a new firmware is listed, and I go, oh crap, there's a new firmware for my car, and I can go in, and because it's an RR2, I can flash it from my phone, and soon you'll be able to do that as well, or I can pull it out, plug it in, and see if that resolves any of the issues that I'm having. But my point is this is a really awesome resource for finding out if there is anything compatible for your car. That is why we keep it here. That was neat. That is why we keep it here. MaestroIDataLink.com. The new website, of course, removes the dot. It's just IDataLinkMaestro.com, which is cool. You can type in the old one, of course, and it'll get you to the same spot. But that is what's cool today. Okay.
Yeah.
What's better, 1 amp or 2? Depends. I knew that's what you were thinking I was going to say. Depends. 5-channel amps are spectacular. Depends what you're trying to run. Multi-channel amplifications are becoming more and more popular. If, for some reason, your car, it all depends on what you're trying to do. Personally, for me, the 4-channel amplifier is just, it's great if you have 4 channels of audio to get out of. For example, like this, it has 4 channels from the radio. There's nothing really major going on here. We were able to use the RR to get a flat signal out of this, and or we could have just used the DSR1. Going into a 4-channel amp, perfectly acceptable way to do things. However, if we don't have that, in which case, like, the most thing on my head right now is we have the Subaru WRX STI. And it's basically a Toyota radio which has an all-pass filter in it, which was going to cause us all kinds of havoc as far as trying to tune this thing and make it sound good, because he wanted it to align and he didn't want to pull the factory radio. Well, we went with the Forza F8.9, which gave us 8 channels of audio, we of which only needed 6, so we were able to bridge it. And by doing that, we were active front tweeter, active front mid-bass, active rear. It allowed us to work in the system a lot better and fix some of the problems we ran into because we had more channels to do that with. So, though the 4-channel amplifier is kind of like the old faithful Joy, personally I feel multi-channel amplifiers are going to be the way of the future. They don't necessarily need to be big, but multi-channel gets us the ability to go in and do things. Audio Control makes the 61200, which is really nice. And they also make the 5-channel, which there again, depending on what you're trying to do, 5-channel is a nice amp. So if you want to go active front stage and sub, 5-channel will do that. You can just do the standard front, rear, and sub, but I feel it's time to get a little bit more creative with these things. The Kicker Key 4.200, we don't use it as a 4-channel amp the conventional way anymore. We use it as a front stage only amplifier. So we put it on a set of tweeters and a set of mid-bass.
The Kicker 204.
What did I say, 402?
400 something.
I always get them wrong. Either way, so just something to think about when you're trying to figure out what you want to do for a system.
I want to run a stereo with my phone as a source unit. No head unit mount in the car.
Okay. I mean, yes, you can do that. It just depends on what you want as far as control goes. Metra makes, and some of the other companies now make a volume knob with a preamp built into it. So it's basically just a knob, and behind it is a bunch of RCAs and a power and whatnot, and it's Bluetooth. So you just can mount that on the dash and you can have control of it. The problem that you run into is, like, when you're you need the ability to control the volume somehow. The phone is cool, but it doesn't move fast. It's like sometimes you need to just turn the volume down. So I would check into trying to find like a Bluetooth, or if you want to do, the easiest way to do it would be to take your phone and get the line output from it and go to a standard volume knob. So like PAC makes the LC1, which is just a knob for volume. Audio control, you can use, actually, with audio control, and a lot of the DSPs, like a DSR1, you can choose what you want the bass knob to be. So if you'd rather have the bass knob as master volume, you could set it up that way. So you can literally take a DSR1 or a DM608 or any one of the others that do this and just put the knob on the dash and pair it to it. Both of those have auxiliary inputs that you can add things into. So it's just a regular lined input that, like, audio control makes their standalone Bluetooth dongle for it, which is kind of nice. Or if you get into the audio control amplifiers, you can get the AC BT24 and then just tell the software that you want it to be volume knob.
Alright. Hey guys, I want a better sound to my wife's 2018 Prius. Can you recommend me something? I have some Pioneers in the doors already.
Well, power is usually the key to making things sound better, so maybe think about adding a small amplifier to make those Pioneers really get up and dance. I mean, that would be the easiest thing to do. And or what year is it?
2018.
So yeah, I would probably look into getting some power. You know, maybe adding a small subwoofer to the back. Unless she's cool with the volume and she just wants some sub. It just really depends on what the goal is. It's one of the conversations we have with people is, what is the end goal? What are we trying to do? Do we just want volume? Do we want better sound? Is it not good sound because there's no tweeter? Should we add a tweeter or add a speaker up in the dash? There's a lot of questions to ask with figuring this out. Push to start doesn't matter.
Alright, trying to tune a DSP car automatically turns ignition off after 20 minutes. Build and a safe feature. How do I get around this?
You don't. It sucks. It's just a crappy thing that, yes, we have to deal with daily, and it's obnoxious and drives us crazy. What I do recommend doing so that you don't lose any of your presets on your DSP or anything that you've done is take and connect the DSP to constant 12 volts. So that it doesn't shut off while you're tuning. The car will shut off, the audio will shut off, but your DSP stays active, so you can at least save your settings before you start the car back up. This one is going to be doing this to me all day tomorrow while I go to set it. It's just the joy of it. I work in, I know this, so when I'm working, I concentrate on doing one speaker, save it, I turn the car on, I cycle the ignition so I get another 20 minutes, I go to the other speaker, I tune that, cycle the ignition, save it, you know. So it's just like you work with the 20 minutes, you just kind of have to figure it out. You guys ever consider doing marine audio installation? It's not a matter of considering it. We've done it before. The problem is, for one, we don't have time to go to the location. And the bigger problem is we don't have space to do it here at this location. The area behind us is an actual road. So you can't have a boat there blocking it because we do have semis that pull behind us, and a boat would get hit. And the parking lot in front is packed because our plaza is full of businesses and it's kind of too small. So as far as marine goes, those are the reasons why we don't do it. I would love to do it. We live in Florida. I mean, it's rich with market for that. I mean, we sell a god-awful large quantity of marine audio. It's insane how much we actually sell, but it's usually for not for us to do.
Alright, hey guys, I'm looking at the ARC Audio 1000.2 for a set of subwoofers. Do you guys have any experience with these amplifiers or any advice? I'm running an Audison Bit 1 for DSP.
I'm not familiar with that particular ARC Audio. However, we have had Brian on the show, Brian Mitchell of ARC Audio. Big supporter of the show, big fan of the show, big fan of their products. I've yet to see an ARC Audio product that I don't like. So that following suit, I would probably really enjoy this amplifier as well. I know, it's aggravating as hell. Oh no, Fernando will tell you how aggravated I get when the car shuts off, because if I haven't stayed on point and hit save, I'll lose my freaking mind.
Yeah. Alright, what normally preset do you guys tune for signs? I have a Helix Director and I have a room for 20 presets. I need ideas, example, driver, 2-seat.
So, like for example, we were talking with Jeff about this the other day, and so Jeff, as we both know, is a competitor. He competes in sound competitions and stuff like that. So he actually uses a lot of his presets for judges. So depending on who's actually going to be judging his show, he will have a preset set for that individual. As far as examples for the rest of us go, you know, you could have a preset for flat, meaning acoustically flat, like try to get that perfect, like, boring curve. You could have a preset for dynamic, where you let the tweeters in the mid-range ride up a little louder and make everything sound, which is probably where you'd always leave it. You can make a preset for no time alignment, so basically just EQ it and have no time alignment, so that when you have people in the car, if you're just doing party mode, as it were, where you just want sound to come from all four corners, where everything is more balanced and level, that's a good preset to have. I mean, personally for me, we do basically one preset. We do a dynamic preset, and we just kind of leave it like that, because we know that they're fun to have multiple presets, but the reality is you're going to just play one and just play it loud. So, but those are some ideas. And with that, that takes us...
Before we go, this is going to be the last one, because Kevin has that. And does the audio control LC61200 have a DSP, or is only on the D model?
The D is the only one that comes with a DSP. The D stands for DSP, the LC stands for line converter. Though they both have line converters built into them, they actually have LC8Is built into them. The D means built-in DSP, the LC does not. However, depending on what you're trying to do with the D61200 is going to tell you on whether or not you should get that or the LC. So for example, if you're trying to turn it into a 4-channel amplifier and go really loud on some speakers like 250 watts, I would suggest going with an LC and an external DSP. If you're just trying to do front, rear, sub, D is great. If you're trying to do front tweeter, front, mid, rear, sub, the D is great. Really the only application where I don't recommend the D is if you're trying to bridge channels. It just doesn't, the software doesn't bode well for doing that. We've done it in the past. It's kind of kludgy. I don't like it. But yeah, that's it. All right. That takes us to an hour. Thank you guys so much for playing along with us. Let's head over to the laptop again. If you guys want to find the cool tools that we use in all our installation, make sure you head over to DNF Tool Drawer, dnftooldrawer.com. That is a place where we keep all our cool tools. We were talking earlier about Polarity Pops. If you'd like to download that and play with it, you can find a Polarity Pop track right here that you can download and play with, and or just play directly from the website on your phone. So you can start playing with that built-in time alignment in your radios if it has it. Teespring/store/5star is a place you can go to buy all the cool 5-star shirts and swag and neat stuff like that. Yeah, I know the Jeff Smith. He's right there. You can find him. Get his shirt. And with that, guys, that's going to take us to an hour. That takes us through Monday. We've all made it through the first day of the week. Woohoo, get excited. We still have a whole bunch more to go. We're just starting this race off. So make sure to tune in to Instagram, where you can find the 5 minutes of 5-star conversation that we have. We usually talk about the cars we're working on, anything cool that we just figured out, things that people ship us, anything that's happening, we try to do it there. If you miss those, because it happens, make sure on Monday, today, if you're on YouTube, that's when we do the 5 minutes of 5-star recap show. So all those shows that we did throughout the week all end up there. This week was really fun because we had a 2021 F-150 at the first part of the week, and every day we went on and talked about the progress of the car all the way up to the conclusion. So that was a lot of fun. So if you have a 2021 F-150 or you're interested in getting one and you want to kind of see what the nonsense is in it, that's a good place to go and check that out. Thursday nights, you can find me over on the Hi-Fi Vega network, where we'll be giving away a product this week. So if you didn't catch that, we talked about it on Instagram. We're going to be giving away a Dayton Audio DSP. We'll tell you why and what brought that about if you tune into the show. I know. So just tune in Thursday nights for that at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. Friday morning at 9 o'clock, we'll be back here on the Dean and Fernando's Car Stereo Clips YouTube channel talking about the news, anything that happened in car audio. We talk about, we give you a half hour of just everything that's happening around this industry and what is cool and exciting. And then Saturday, it's the end of the week, we're back at it again. We will be just taking all kinds of questions and having fun on Saturday. It's an upbeat, good time, fun for all, and that's over on YouTube at the 5-Star Car Stereo. I'm Dean. This is Fernando. It's been the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Say bye.
You ready?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Oh, okay.
Your turn, man.
I'm like...
Your turn.
I was about to grab a blanket and just like...
Just end the show, man.
Bye, guys.